Welcome to Brain Wreck. I'm Jason X.
And I'm Kevin Graham.
And this is the best show on the internet.
Back again.
We are
Jeez,
back.
I don't even know when the last time we did this was.
Oh, geez. It's been a fortnight.
Has it been a month?
It may.
Has it been an official month? Let's see. Let's go to our channel.
Well,
stats.
you've been gone. You've been away. I've been LIVIN.
Yeah.
Just doing the damn thing. As
May 28th.
Oh, almost.
It is pretty much, I would say, pretty much like a calendar month.
Yeah, like a baker's dozen month.
Like a baker's dozen of a month. I mean, yeah, like it has been a minute, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it is that time of year, this summer. Mm-hmm. People are traveling, people are living their dreams, people are I mean, you have anyway. Like I don't want to speak for you, but it seems like you've been having a real good time.
It has been a good time.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a real good time.
Well, that's great.
It's been a tiring time.
Well, and that's the thing. Like when you live life,
yeah,
you're exhausted.
Yeah. And so essentially to not bury the lead, but before we get there, be sure to subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, give us a like, leave a comment down below. Let us know what your summer plans are, because that's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about summer and vacations and going on trips, and probably
you did this summer
at some point. Yeah.
Oh, I've got a lot to say about.
Dude, I've got a lot to say about pro wrestling.
Oh, we're gonna get into that shit.
We're going Broadway tonight.
Buckle up, folks. Get yourself a drink.
Going on a ride.
Get yourself some popcorn. Popped corn, as it will.
Popcorn. But yeah, Christy and I, we were away in Europe for a couple of weeks there. Her brother was getting married.
That's right.
He lives out in England now with his wife. And we said, hey, if we're going to be going out there,
right, if you're going across the pond,
why not make 2 stops along the way?
Right.
So we hit up Dublin for a few days. We hit up Glasgow for a few days, and then we boogied on down to England, and we were there for about a week. And then we came home. We went to bed. We did laundry. We packed back up, and then we went immediately to New York City the next day because my buddy was getting married. And we were there for 3 days, and we just got back on Monday. And in total, we have been home this month for like 3 days.
And there's no place like home.
And dude, I got to tell you, when we got home, like the house is still a mess.
Right. Well, like, that never like the beginning of Fallout. War never changes.
War never changes.
The house never changes. It's always a mess.
But the house is still a mess, which is fine. Because we knew what we were coming back to.
Sure.
The garage is a disaster.
Right. Well, you're running a business. Yeah.
I need a new what?
Well, you're running a business. So.
Well, no, brother, the business is inside the house right now.
Okay.
I can tell you we don't have a spare room anymore because that is used for business storage.
Oh, sure. Well, that's the office now.
Nope, it is a storage room.
Okay, I'm trying to help you, but you're
the doorway to our front hallway bathroom is blocked. The doorway to
that toilet doesn't work anyway. So
it works.
Yeah, it was finicky.
I fixed it. It is fixed. It's been working wonders.
Oh, okay. All right. I trust you.
It's like poop in there all the time. And then the doorway to our bedroom is partially blocked. We've got claw machines all over the house. We've got prize boxes all over the house. You should see my garage.
Okay.
It's chaos. And the van, don't even get me started on the van. The van is packed full.
Wow.
Yeah. And I got a broken windshield that I got to take care of.
What happened to the windshield?
I don't know. Like
a stone?
A stone had to have, and it's my car, my windshield.
Oh, it's not the van. It's like,
yeah, it's not the van.
So it's not a write-off.
Yeah, no, it's not a write-off. But like it got hit with a stone, I guess, and it cracked and it split all the way across the middle of the windshield. So that's got to get replaced. Christy's got one that she's got to get replaced now too, because she's got a crack in her windshield.
It was when we went to visit. your area. I thought to myself, boy, there's a lot of dust and rocks here.
Yeah.
It's very Texas.
I got 3 I got nails in 3 of my tires within the first year of living in this house.
That's a lot of nails.
That's a lot of nails. I had a tire replaced, and then 4 months later, I had to patch it.
That's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate. Texas doesn't like my car for whatever reason, but I really do.
You know what they should do? And this is coming from a guy who doesn't live there. So, you know, you can tell me, you know, it's not feasible. But what they should do is they should focus less on taking away people's rights and focus more on magnets.
Sure.
Invest in magnets to take the nails off the road. Keep people their rights. Just a thought.
I think that's
just a thought.
I think that makes more sense than anything they're doing right now. It'd be great. But yeah, so the house is in a bit of disarray, but like I said, we planned for that. Catching up on work right now, and then the weekend's going to be getting back to it all with the house. But yeah, we were in Dublin for a few days. We were in Glasgow for a few days. We were in Worcester, England for a few days. Learned a lot about the other side of the world. You know?
Well, that's the thing, you know, and this is what I'll say as somebody who loves to travel. You like to travel as well. Like, traveling gives you perspective.
It really does.
It gives you other people's perspective, and then you can grow as a person. Now, unfortunately, the majority of who I'm going to say are probably U.S. voters don't get other people's perspective, and thusly, here we are.
Here we are. But yeah, it was kind of cool to see how like cultures are over there. And I'll say, you know, overall, not much different.
Oh, people are people.
Right? People are people. Yeah. The only things I would say is people definitely have a sensibility of sort of how their sort of process and schedule works. Like in terms of we get up, we go to work, we come home, we have dinner, we go to bed. Like that's very much like a routine. But then it was like a Thursday night or a Friday night. We get up, we go to work, we get fucked up, and then we go home. Glasgow on a Monday night. Was that when let's see, we went to Glasgow. No, Saturday. Okay, so Saturday night was the first night we were there.
Right, party night.
I, you know, had a run. You know, Christy was a little under the weather that day. I think just because of all the travel, a little bit of a head cold. So like, I went out, I did some shopping, I grabbed some snacks, I got some medicine. But boy, howdy, let me tell you something. People were rowdier in Glasgow than they were in Dublin.
Okay.
Which is not what I would have expected. Like people in Dublin were very chill, very tame. We saw very little riffraff. Even when we went to like the big bar district, Temple Bar is what they call it.
Okay.
It was pretty chill. I mean, you had a bunch of people walking around. It was a bit touristy, but like you had a ton of people walking around just having a good time. We passed a pub where, you know, there was a band singing John Denver. Christy and I somehow managed to go to the most American restaurant.
See, you texted me this, and I was confused.
I was confused too.
Because if I'm going across the pond, right? Yeah. If I walk into a place and I hear Bon Jovi, I'm leaving.
Well, see, that would have been most places, though.
Really?
Because
Bon Jovi's over in UK?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, I'm sure he is. But every store, most of the restaurants we went into, like they were playing American music. Like there was no.
Well, it's our biggest export.
Huh?
It's our biggest export.
It really is. But there was like no like, here's Ireland's top 40,
Riverdance?
or anything like.
like Riverdance or some shit.
Like River. I mean, I would have been down for listening to some river dancing.
Right.
We did go to a pub in Ireland where there was a group of people just like playing music at a table, and it was like, you know, traditional Irish type stuff. Same thing in Glasgow, where there was a pub that we went to for lunch, and they were playing traditional Scottish music. So like that was cool,
right?
But like any other restaurants and stores you'd go into, like it was, you know, American Top 40.
Got some T Swift,
a lot of T Swift,
a lot of T Swift.
So you know, we were just looking, you know, because a lot of people had recommended this area to us in Dublin. So we, you know, we're looking for just places that we could maybe go get some food, because I don't know what these people are thinking. And this goes for Glasgow and Worcester too. Like they stopped serving food at like 7 p.m.
Really?
Like 7, 8 o'clock. The first night we were in Glasgow, I tried to go get us some dinner, like pick up some dinner. Nobody had fucking food. They were all like, nope, kitchen's closed. We stopped serving an hour ago, yada, yada. We ended up getting food from like the hotel restaurant, which was still really good. But if we wanted to get dinner, we had to get out there at like 4:30 just to make sure, because the days were flying by, number one, because of the time difference.
Right.
Like our sense of time was way off.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know, we weren't necessarily jet lagged, but we could not remember what time it was. Also, due to the fact that it didn't get dark over there until like 10:30 at night.
Oh, that's upsetting.
And then it was getting light out, like the sun was coming up at like 5:30.
Oh, fuck that.
So I'd look outside, I'd be like, oh wow, you know, there's still a lot of day left. And I look at the clock, I'd be like, no, it's 9 o'clock at night.
You see, it's funny you say that, because like our good buddy Josh, he and this was before the pandemic, so like, you know, grain of salt, right? He said America's the greatest country in the world, and it's because if at you know midnight, and at the time you could do this at midnight, you could go anywhere and they're open. That's not the case anymore, but like But he said you go to Europe and everything shuts the fuck down.
Yeah. Yes.
Like everything shuts the fuck down and there's nothing to do.
The only thing they don't stop is serving beer. Like all the pubs are open after 8 o'clock. A lot of them close at like 10:30 during the week. But for the most part, they're still open serving beer. Like if I wanted to go out and get a beer, no problem. If I wanted to go out and get a burger, it's going to be a little bit trickier.
Which I heard, and we got to talk about this a little bit. I heard with your specific trip, there was no shortage of beer on your end.
Brother, I drank so much Guinness across 2 countries. It's great.
See, Kay, you know, breaking the fourth wall here. Like we're really friends.
Yeah.
Like we talk outside of the show.
If we're not really friends and we've been doing this show for 10 years, what the fuck?
So we're texting back and forth, right?
Yeah.
And Christy texts me.
You
know, he's on his 14th pint of Guinness.
Yeah.
On this trip, and I get concerned.
Yeah.
And then the next text I get is a bunch of bullshit from the 7-Eleven down there of like, I'm like, what is he doing? I'm like, as a friend, I'm like, he's gone off the rails. Like, I know it's vacation, but like,
no,
what?
honestly, it was very well paced.
Okay, all right.
There was really
feel better.
I feel good. Well, yeah, I feel good about myself.
Well, good. I feel good for you.
I never overdid it. You know, I felt like I drank responsibly. It was just a matter of, you know, the first one I got was when we went to, you know, out for breakfast in Ireland, because there was a place next door.
You had a Guinness for breakfast?
Yeah, dude.
Not a mimosa?
No, brother. I'm gonna tell you something right now. The Guinness in Ireland, there is a different taste.
Oh, it tastes sweeter.
It just tastes better. You know how there's like certain flavors hit more in like certain areas.
It's like getting Ben and Jerry's right from the factory.
Right.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're right next to the Guinness brewery. So like that stuff is just flowing like
Right.
water. So like, you know, the first stop we went to for breakfast, there was a pub right next to our hotel. You know, we're sitting down and I'm like, I'm not gonna get a beer during breakfast. I'm not gonna do that. And then as Christy just said, the guy at the table next to us egged us on.
Really? Okay. So you had some peer pressure going on.
A little bit, but like
Okay.
you know, I get the full Irish breakfast, you know, and I'm dude.
Is that derogatory?
No, that's like it's it's just like a full breakfast.
Oh,
It's
okay.
fucking amazing, you know. But it was like we're sitting there, we're having a good time, we're talking, and there's this nice Australian couple who are also on vacation next to
They
us,
didn't
and
have
I
any Fosters.
they didn't have it, no, but I overhear the guy order a Guinness, and I start to go, and like I had already had ordered a coffee. Or I'm sorry, an Americano, because nobody does like traditional coffee over there.
Oh, yeah, a Chad Gable, as it will.
A Chad Gable, as you
Yeah.
will. And then like our waitress comes back over. She's like, "Is there anything else I can get you? Any more drinks?" And I'm like, "Ah, you know, we'll think about it." And then Chrissy's like, "You gonna get a drink?" And I was like, and out of the corner of my eye, I just see the guy next to us go, "It's always a good time for a Guinness."
Oh, fuck.
And I'm just like, yeah, I think I'm gonna get one. So
And then
like,
he hands you his business card, and he's the salesman for Guinness.
No, I mean, like, so I got a Guinness, and then, like, this was a very nice couple. They were, like I said, they were on vacation too. So like we talked about stops and stuff like that, had a good time, and then it became like every place we went to get food is, yeah, I'll get a pint of Guinness. You know, we went to like I said, we went to the Guinness distillery, or the Guinness brewery rather. Which I actually have a fun story. I had like two Guinness there, because we did the brewery tour.
Okay.
And part of the tour is you get to go up to their big like sky bar, which is at the very top.
Okay.
And you get to see this gorgeous view of the city. It was raining, but you know, it was still it was a 360 view around.
It's
And
Europe. It's always raining.
Yeah, I know. And you get a free pint when you're up there.
Oh, well,
But
no,
there's also,
hold on. That's included. That's not free. That's part of,
yes, it is part of the tour. You get a pint of Guinness.
You paid for that Guinness. Let's be honest.
Guinness. So, but there's part of the tour where you can go, and there's like a little taste testing room where they tell you about like how to pour a Guinness, and you know, the right way to drink a Guinness, and a little bit of history about Guinness. I think it was like a 5-minute thing. It's just a gimmick. But they usher everybody in, and it's this like white room, and there's a couple of bartenders, and you know, there's a bar, and essentially what they're gonna do is they're gonna pour you like little shots of Guinness to taste and kind of do this thing, and they have like aromatics for some reason. I'm just like, I just want a beer,
right?
But you know, we're standing there waiting, and I've got my Bret Hart shirt on, and like
Wait, do you have is it the one where it's a singlet?
But no, it's the one in the thumbnail. It's the one in the thumbnail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was the one I got from Roots of Fight. And I can kind of hear this guy like off to the side by the bar. And, you know, because I don't like acknowledging people when they call out to me.
Of course not. Right.
So, and I can kind of hear like, Bret Hart. And I look over, and he's like, Bret Hart. And I'm like,
and
I'm just like, yeah, man, hell yeah. And he goes, come here. I'm like, okay. And he hands me a little shot of Guinness. He goes, that's for you. That's for nobody else. That's for you. And I was like, fucking A. So I just swig that back. And then they give like, and then they go around and then they give the shot to everybody. And I get another one. So I'm like,
right.
Oh, fucking drink that. And then we go up, and then, you know, I had my pint. Christy had a little bit of hers, gave the rest of it to me. And then, yeah, then it was just like after that, everywhere we went, I was just like, have myself a little Guinness.
A little Guinness, you know, something.
We got into Glasgow, and like I said, Christy was a little under the weather, so I, you know, took some time. I actually went up to the restaurant and the hotel. I worked. I did some business.
Oh.
And while I was doing business, I had myself 2 Guinness.
See that's a self-employed man right there.
Self-employed man right there. So yeah, and again, didn't overdo it.
Well, that's
Didn't have
great.
too much.
Can
Enjoyed
I tell you?
myself.
Can I tell you?
Mm-hmm.
I am not a beer drinker.
Sure.
That's where I am a liquor whiskey man.
Whiskey man.
As it were. The last time I had a Guinness was an Irish car bomb on my 21st birthday. And I have not had and it was thick.
Yes. I mean it's a stout.
I mean Guinness is a thick.
It's a
thick beer.
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't even call it a beer. I call it a stout. First of all, good on you. I mean, do you remember anything that happened after you had the car bomb?
No, but I did. The pictures have surfaced of me wearing a beekeeper's hat.
Yes. Okay.
Which I do not know where that came from or,
So
yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a night where I did a car bomb and remembered what happened afterwards.
I mean, it was my 21st birthday, so like,
yeah, it never goes well. This is the reason why I don't do them anymore.
Well, that and you're like fucking 35.
That I'm 36, and I'm like, well, I mean, hey, listen, I'm still young at heart, so like, don't tempt me.
Hey, I'm 37. I'm not old.
Exactly, man. Where were we going with this? Oh, Guinness. Yeah, no, I mean, it just tasted better. It was a good experience.
There you go.
And the thing I always had this preconceived notion that Guinness was kind of like a commercial beer, if that makes sense. Kind of like, oh, it's like your Bud Light. It's like
it's the Walmart of beers for that area.
Yeah, but like you go over to Ireland and it's like, no, like Guinness is the thing. Like it's what you drink. I was like, oh shit. So like, because I've always enjoyed it.
Right.
But I always felt like it had that stigma of like, it's a common man's beer. But then I go over there like, no, it's a common man's beer for a reason.
It's every man's beer.
It's an every man beer.
It's every woman's beer. It's every they,
them, and otherwise. It's for everyone. So I enjoyed it. I had a good time. Food overall was great.
Did you get some bangers and mash?
I had some bangers and mash. I had the closest thing to haggis I think I could have had at the time.
Okay.
And I don't know if anybody's familiar with what haggis is.
Isn't that like one of them houses in Harry Potter?
That'd be fucking hilarious if it was. But no, haggis is a like a savory pudding, I guess is what
like
they would
flan?
say. I don't know about a flan, but it's got like
I'm just saying things I don't know what.
But it's basically it's like a very gamey thing. It's made from like sheep heart and lung, and liver.
You're not
and like
selling
some other stuff. Well, I mean, listen, a lot of people don't. I mean, a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people who like go out there and visit are like, God no. But I had like the closest thing to like traditional that I would say.
Okay, and out of 10,
I enjoyed it.
Okay,
it wouldn't be something I would eat all the time, but if it's on my plate,
is that like a 7, 6.5? What are we talking?
I don't know, 6.5. 6.5 seems good.
6.5. Okay, all right.
I would I would eat it.
Did you get fish and chips in the newspaper?
Didn't get it in the newspaper. We did get some fish and chips.
Okay,
which was fucking splendid. I'll say 2 real big things about the trip, or like 2 spots that we went to, because I don't want to like go long on this, because I know you got some shit and then we got some shit
and then we got Broadway tonight, folks.
Broadway tonight. So there was, where was it? In Dublin. It was our first day there. First of all, we were wired.
Oh yeah,
just because of the trip over.
Okay.
I mean, we basically.
How long was the flight, by the way?
Like 9 hours.
Ooh, that's a long.
It went by a lot quicker than you would think.
Okay.
Because we dozed off a little bit, and then they give you food, and then you doze back off.
What is the food for those who have never traveled, which is like me, like that? Like, what are your options? Like, what's on the menu?
You usually get like 2 options unless you specifically request like a vegetarian meal.
Sure.
I want to say the first meal they gave us, I got like a lasagna.
Oh, okay.
And then like the
was like a
second
Stouffer's situation.
God, dude, it like comes in like a little plastic container that's like microwaved, and the flight was only 5.5 hours to Ireland.
9 hours.
I mean, I guess
4-hour difference, brother.
I mean, I guess considering the time traveled from Austin to Philly, I don't know. I thought it was longer.
Oh, wait, you went to Philly?
Well, we flew through Philly.
Oh, well, fuck you. Like that's like you're banking on a 50-50 chance if you're making it if you're going to Philly.
I mean, we didn't really have too many issues with our Philly to Ireland flights. I could have swore it was like 9 hours.
9 hours is like going to Japan.
Nonstop, nonstop from. I'm looking at something right now. It says nonstop from Philadelphia to Dublin. Is nonstop? It's like closer to 7. It could have been 5.5. I don't remember. Anyways, that's not the point.
Yeah,
the point is, we got like you get like a chicken meal, you get like a lasagna meal. I'll say the food overall not bad. It's better than a bag of peanuts or some pretzels.
Sure.
So that was fine. But just getting over there when we did, it was like you didn't get great sleep. You've been traveling, you're going through everything. And the one thing that's always recommended is when you land overseas, don't go to sleep until it's like time to go to sleep at night.
Right. So
you know what I mean?
Reset your schedule.
Yeah, you got to reset your schedule to kind of, adjust for the jet lag. Okay, Christy says Dublin was 5.5 hours. London to Florida was 9 hours. Okay, so I had them backwards. But the first day,
fast flight, apparently.
The first day we get there is, we get there earlier in the day, and we're immediately, for some reason, we decided to immediately try to start doing stuff.
Well, you're excited.
We're excited. We're excited to be there. We're like, oh, we could do this, and then we could do this, and then let's go do this. And
right.
We kind of hit pause because we're like, we just got here.
Sure.
Like, let's go.
Maybe got time.
Let's go do something simple. And so I looked up, just fun attractions.
Sure.
Because I'm also into like, let's go do something weird and silly.
Of course.
And I found a wax museum, which we shared with you guys along the way.
You sure did.
Now, the wax museums that I'm used to are kind of like your Niagara Falls Hollywood Wax Museum. I'm familiar with your Madame Tussauds.
Sure, that's the brand name.
The brand name. This wax museum in Dublin was kind of like if another wax museum went out of business and they bought whatever leftover inventory there was.
Sure, they got it on the cheap. Yeah.
Christy was like, I can't believe you took me here.
We flew all the way for this.
It's like, I don't know.
The Darth Mall.
There was some of the statues were really well done.
Yeah.
Other statues were like, they bought this and it fell apart.
And then they tried with like a lighter and a blowtorch to put it back together.
There was like a Star Wars display that only had like Darth Vader, Anakin, a young Anakin Skywalker, Qui-Gon Jinn, Darth Maul, R2D2, and Mr. Freeze from Batman and Robin. Like,
so there's a little lost in translation.
And then the Darth Maul is doing like a sidekick.
Is that what that? I thought he was doing a split. Like I didn't know.
No, he was. It looked like they had him setting up for a super kick. You know,
right? Yeah.
But the problem is like his leg is turned 180 degrees at the thigh, and I'm like, I don't. And then like across from that, you had the Game of Thrones display, which had like a couple characters from Game of Thrones and Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
Right.
And I was like, they have some pieces that they just don't know what to do with.
And this sort of goes together.
It's in the same genre.
Yeah.
And again, like some statues look great.
The photo of Christie with the man with the gun.
That
is confusing.
So we went through some stuff where it was like the history of Ireland.
Okay. Potatoes.
There was some potato famine situations going on. There was some crook and criminal stuff going on. There was a Viking holding a severed head. And I'm like, yo, like that's fucking hardcore.
Right.
And then they had this really trippy, like Meow Wolf type, like it was a section that was all like blacklit, and it was
that's
like
my vibe.
Yeah, it was definitely a vibe. You know, it was like, okay, I could get into this. And like they had this huge, like fluorescent dragon that somebody made. I have no idea what any of that was in relation to, or what any of that had to do with the other stuff that we were looking at, but it was cool. And then they had this like horror section, which, not gonna lie, for as hokey as it was pretty cool.
Okay.
Like you would go through it again, like they would have some questionable statue figures. Where I'm like, that, like, I can tell that's supposed to be Freddy Krueger.
Right.
Maybe in the dark that would look more like Freddy Krueger.
Put a strobe light on him or something.
Put a strobe light on him. But it was kind of cool because like they had this hallway that with like a flickering backdrop that was, you know, like the scene from The Shining with the two girls.
Oh, sure.
The hallway. They had this animatronic of like a zombie jumping out of a refrigerator that I was like, that's dope. Like that's cool. Like they had some cool like haunted house animatronics, which
that's like, where all the money went. Yeah.
Where I'm like they put some money into this. And then there's other areas within that section where I'm like, they clearly just bought supplies from a Party City. But you know, it's
making
fun.
The best of it, you know?
Making the best of it. So that was our first experience in Ireland.
Now, did you go and see like the fucking changing of the guard or the royals or any of that bullshit?
No.
I mean, you didn't go check it out?
No. I mean, we went to Dublin Castle, which is just like a art museum now.
So, like, you saw a castle.
We saw two castles, technically.
Okay.
So we saw Dublin Castle in Ireland, which is really more of like an art museum now. It was actually very cool. Learned a lot about how hardcore the Renaissance period was. Like ladies cutting dudes' heads off.
Yeah, they didn't give a fuck
slaughtered. Back then. Yeah, it was fucked up. Kind of cool. And then we went to a castle in Scotland, which I really wanted to go to because there is a history of the castle that is tied to my last name.
Oh shit!
So,
all right.
So Clan Graham, way back in the early days, like
way before the cracker.
like 1200 through late 1800s. Just north of Glasgow, there was Muddock Castle, which was land and a stronghold that was owned by Clan Graham. So there's a little bit of history there. So Christy and I, it was like 30 minutes north of where we were staying in Glasgow. So we took the Uber up. And I was like, we might be here for like an hour because it's kind of just like an open to the public type thing. There's really not much out that way.
Right.
So I was like, it'd be cool to go out there, hang out for a little bit, and then come back.
Mm-hmm.
Was actually like a lot more going on. Like they had this whole visitor center that you would go into. They had like a couple shops and like a cafe and some other stuff. It was very cool. And then it was like, essentially you go through like a park. Like a national park kind of thing where they had like ponds and water locks, and like people were out there walking their dogs and with their families and stuff like that. So it was like a really nice, it was a beautiful day.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good to kind of get out and walk around. And then, we went to the castle. I was just like, holy fuck, like this is cool. You kind of like go through the ruins, you check some stuff, and we took a bunch of pictures. And then we were like, all right, so like let's go back. So we go back. And this is where we ran into problems.
Ooh.
Because I had checked online before we left how to get from point A to point B and back to point A.
Right.
So I did some calculations and I saw, okay, like there are taxi services that go up to the castle and come back.
Sure.
So we get back. I submit a request for a taxi, and then they immediately call me and they're like, we don't go up there. I'm like, oh no.
That's far.
That's not good.
Right.
I mean, it's like 8 miles from the hotel.
Oh, okay.
Like it is like literally it's a drive across Austin.
Right, but to walk it would be like 2.5 hours.
It would have taken 3 hours probably to walk it. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that's not good. Uber doesn't pick you up from there.
Ooh.
I knew of another taxi service that I quickly submitted a request to. I got a request confirmation. Got no update after that. So I go into the visitor center. I'm just like, hey, what kind of public transport comes through this way? And the guy just shakes his head and he goes, there's no public transport that comes through here.
Oh no.
And I'm like, oh no. So they were nice enough to try to help us out. They knew of a taxi service that sometimes went up there, but they couldn't get through to them. And I'm just like, what's the number? I'll give them a call. I'll see what I can do. And at this point, like an hour has gone by, and we've got dinner reservations like in like an hour and a half.
Okay.
So we're like, okay. Also, it's like we might get stuck here.
Right.
So like we're scrambling. I'm scrambling. Christy's just like, I'm gonna go shop in this thing over here.
You figure it out.
Yeah. And so I go in and I call the number, and like immediately get disconnected. I'm just like, fuck. Call them back, and they're like, yeah, we can have somebody out there. It might be like 15 to 30 minutes. And I'm like, okay, we'll take it, whatever.
Right.
Shortly after that, I get a call from a guy who's like, hey, buddy, I'll be there in like 10, 15 minutes. And I'm like, who
are you?
Okay.
Are you with?
Yeah, and that's what I said. I'm like, are you with that? And he was just like, no, I'm coming out that way. I'm like, okay, fine. So I ring up the other number, the other person I called, go through the automated system, and I'm like, okay, cancel. And no, I canceled that request.
Right.
So I go look at the status of the one that I called earlier, but now that says canceled. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I call that guy back, and I'm like, and I explained to him the situation. He goes, no. He goes, I'm still coming. I'm about 3 to 5 minutes away. And I'm like,
oh,
it's been 2 minutes, but okay, cool. He picks us up. He's just, the nicest dude.
Okay.
And he's like, yeah, normally we don't come up here. And I'm like, I found that out. He goes,
like,
yeah.
Who are you with?
Yeah. Well, he was with the second company that I contacted.
Okay.
So, but this guy clearly knew that we were tourists.
Tourists, right?
Clearly knew that we were American. And he was like, so what brings you up here? And I was explaining it to him, and he's like, okay. He goes, oh, okay, yeah. He goes, yeah, we are Glasgow based, and we don't normally come up here, but
here we
now.
are.
And I'm like, okay, cool. And I felt like he seemed to feel obligated to give us like a little bit more of an experience while he was driving us.
Okay.
Because between where we were in Glasgow, it's a rural area.
Okay.
A lot of fields,
a lot of sheep,
so much sheep. And so he's driving us along, and every now and then he would be like, "Oh yeah, you see that building over there?" We're like, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, that's a very old building." And then he'd be like, "This building here, these farmers owned it, and then somebody else bought it. It's been there for a couple hundred years. That's pretty cool." And he's just telling us these stories the entire way. And
that reminds me of like the celebrity house bus tours in California.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this house belongs to Ben Affleck. And you're like, well, how do I know that?
How do I know?
Like, how do I know that's real? How do I know you're not just making shit up?
Yeah. Yeah. And then the thing I popped for though was because he was looking in the mirror, he was looking back at me, he goes, "Are you military?" And I was like, "Nope." Which I do get a lot, and I'm always quick to be like, "Nope."
Well, it's the shaved head,
the shaved head, and apparently I just look like I have that sort of frame.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're not 300 pounds, so like,
yeah. So I was like, no, not military. I was like, I used to, and I just try to like be short with it. I was just like, yeah, I used to be an athlete. He was like, oh, what'd you do? I was like, well, I did some pro wrestling for, a number of years. He goes, oh, like WWE? And I was like, yeah. He's like Roddy Piper. I was like,
yes.
And I was like, yes, exactly.
I met him once.
And that's what I said. I was like, yep, I met him once. I drove him around. It was quite a time. And he goes,
his son threw a baseball bat at me.
Yep. And he was like, oh, and then like he started talking about Drew McIntyre. And then he
of course, I was going to ask if he's over.
Yep. He started talking about Drew, and then he's like, "This building's also really old. It's the oldest building in Glasgow." Yeah. And then he dropped us off our dinner reservation.
It's wild.
Yeah. So, but like overall, great time. But yeah, in terms of like culture, like very similar in a number of ways. So like we didn't really feel like fish out of the water type stuff.
Well,
the only thing I would say was awkward at times was like the whole tipping situation.
Well, okay,
because they don't tip over there,
right?
Like in Europe, because they actually pay people,
which is wonderful,
reasonable wages,
right?
So it's always one of those things of it's not required,
sure,
but it's often suggested. So like there would be times where I'd be like, I don't know if I tip you or not. You walked away, so I'm just going to take my beer and move.
Of course, right?
Yeah. So, but good times.
Well, that's comforting to know. I mean, you did go to a place that speaks the language, so like I'm sure that helped a lot.
I will say though, as they did speak the language. But there were a lot of times where I would respond before I knew what they were actually saying.
Oh, because of the accent?
Because of the accent.
Okay.
Sometimes it was hard to make out, but I was just thinking too far ahead, and I was like, oh, the thing I said had nothing to do with the thing that they asked. So that's confusing.
Well, that's most of America. So
yeah, I mean that's most of America because they're probably just like typical American.
You're a stereotype at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but you, sir, you went to basically another country as well.
I mean, I went to another universe.
You went to another universe,
as it were, and I went, for Christmas. So this was a long time coming. For Christmas of last year, my mother got us all tickets to Epic Universe, the new park at Universal Studios. We live here in Florida, so anything new here in Florida, like everyone's excited. Like everyone's just like, ooh, a new thing.
Right.
And it's a new park. And hold on. Christy says, the amount of times I had to prompt Kevin with a proper response.
Yeah.
Isn't that every day?
Yeah, pretty much.
There you go. Nothing changes. So we went to Epic Universe. It was a long time coming. We've been looking forward to it for a long time. And first off, the amount of times that I made a Twilight Zone reference of you're in another dimension.
Oh my God, you would too.
Of course, and everyone's like, you're in the wrong park. Like that's the mouse.
Yeah.
Like over there. And I'm like, don't take this away from me. Okay. I'm trying to have a good time.
I've paid to be here.
Well,
I'm having a good time. Well, in a way you paid.
So there's been a lot, and I don't know how much you've kept up on, what's there and what's been happening and that sort of thing.
I've kept tabs on the overall situation. I haven't taken a deep dive only because when we do eventually go, I want to be a little bit more surprised.
And that's how I was too. Like I wanted to be as surprised as I could as somebody who, listen, folks, I don't subscribe to CNN. I don't subscribe to the Fox News.
Fuck no.
I barely watch the NPR. Like if I'm going to watch anything, it's going to be NPR. But the news channels I subscribe to the most are Walt Disney World News Today and Universal News Today. Those are the two. So like, I'm up to date on my theme park news, but I was trying to keep as spoiler free as possible before going to this thing. And there's two things that got spoiled for me and barely spoiled.
Okay.
Number one, which was amazing and rocked my socks off, was the best ride in the park is the Universal Monsters ride. And hearing that beforehand, I was just like, oh, like I'm a fan.
Yeah.
And the other thing that was spoiled was if you're going to eat anywhere in the park, you go to Pizza Moon.
Pizza Moon?
Pizza Moon, which is a very bizarre experience. And I'll get to that in a moment.
Okay.
So we're going to Epic and we're very, very excited. And the boy is super into Nintendo and super into Luigi.
Oh,
so like he's all about it. The girl just watched the new live action How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh yeah, that just came out.
And that's a land in the park as well. She said it was really good. So, take that for what it's worth.
Yeah.
So there are essentially 5 lands of the park. You've got Nintendo World, which includes Super Mario and Donkey Kong. You've got the Dark Universe, which is Universal Monsters. You've got the Ministry of Magic, which is Harry Potter. And you've got How to Train Your Dragon. I forget what the fucking name of their town is, but it's their town.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. And then you have the center of the park, which is called Celestial Park. So it is Universal, Epic Universe. And Capella does love Nintendo too. She would not shut the fuck up about Animal Crossing. And there was nothing Animal Crossing in the... I'm sorry, kid. You can't go fishing in the fucking park or collect bells.
I was going to say, if she really wants the Animal Crossing experience, just have her learn about loans.
Totally. Exactly. And swindlers named Tom, peeping Toms, whatever the case may be. So Celestial Park is the center of everything. So the concept of this park is you go through a portal, a black hole portal, or as I said, you enter into another dimension. Oh my God. And then you are in the center of the park, which is Celestial Park, which is supposed to be this kind of like sun and moon, yin and yang, very universal, astral, whatever the fuck. And then from there, you can go into yes, and there was a lot of Nintendo references in the Mario Kart Q, which I'll get to in a second.
Okay.
But you go into different portals, which puts you into that different universe that you're going into. But also in Celestial Park, they have some rides, they have some foods, that sort of thing. Starting off the bat, we enter into the park, and I go to a lot of theme parks, right? You know, I got annual passes to Universal. I got annual passes to Disney. I've been to Legoland, been to Busch Gardens. Haven't been to SeaWorld, but like that's because I care.
Yeah.
You know. This is the most gorgeous park I have ever been to. Like, to look at the park, it is absolutely stunningly beautiful from top to bottom, day or night, no matter what fucking land you go into. Like, and I don't know if it's because it's brand new and like people haven't like shit on the walls yet and stuff like that, but like it is top to bottom gorgeous. And the theming in each individual land is unfucking real. Like, you want to talk about like real immersion into the land that you're going into, like, you might as well be there.
Damn.
You might as well be in a motherfucking Universal Horrors movie. You might as well be a fucking Goomba walking around fucking Nintendo Land. Like, it is out of this world, accurate, and fucking incredible to be in. The downfall of this place, it is not a big park. It is a lot smaller than you would think it would be.
Okay.
And thusly, because it is new and there are a lot of people that want to go to this, you are going to be waiting for everything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that is the real, like, man, if they would have just fucking figured this out, that would have been a lot better. But they do offer, and this is the thing about Universal. The difference between Universal and Disney, and everybody knows, like, when you're going to Disney, you're paying a king's fortune to go. But usually that king's fortune is an upfront price of everything. Universal over Disney tends to nickel and dime you for everything. And that's it's kind of like a cruise, to where like, oh, you know, I can go on a cruise for like $3,000. And then after you get on the boat, you're like, where's this $5,000 fee that I didn't fucking realize was coming with this thing? You know? So they offer you you can get their express pass to skip all the lines.
Yeah.
It is $300 a person for that day.
Fuck.
On top of your park ticket, which is unreasonable.
That's fucking brutal.
So when we saw people going through that line, we're like, oh, there's money here.
They've got some cash.
Like, they're like, you talk about the wealth gap in America.
Yeah.
Go to Epic, because it's fucking obvious there. So in prep, and I'm going to say this, if you are a fan of the Universal Monsters, or if you want to be a fan of the Universal Monsters and prepare for this trip, there are 3 movies specifically that you need to watch. You need to watch the original Frankenstein. You need to watch the original Dracula. And most importantly, you need to watch the original Wolfman.
Ooh, okay.
And it just so happens that we watched the original Wolfman right before going. And I'm so happy we did. Because there is a ride there called The Curse of the Werewolf. And the ride is fine. But like, where this park really shines is the queue going into the ride and the theming around the area. Okay? Because if you don't know anything about the original Wolfman movie, basically the Curse of the Werewolf is a gypsy curse.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like that's, you know, a sensitive word.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you know, my wife's best friend called her that
Mm-hmm.
without knowing. And I was like, ooh, you can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but like, don't say that.
Yeah. Know what you're saying first.
Exactly. But the whole cue to the Curse of the Werewolf is a gypsy carnival.
Okay.
So, like, if you don't know the movie going into that, you're like, what the fuck am I walking into?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of thing. But because we had just watched it, we're like, holy fuck, this is great. Like, they've got the thing over there. And there's the old woman who read the fortune. And there's the tarot cards right there. And like, okay, well, they're not gonna put a pentagram like on the thing, because like that has some connotations that like some people might be turned off of, but like they sort of have a star.
Right.
If you know, you know, kind of thing. It is close enough.
Yeah.
So the first thing we walk into is the Dark Universe, and I was stoked. You walk in, and the first thing you see, and if you're very familiar with the movies, like I am, and I know that you are as well. What is the first scene in Frankenstein? Do you remember the first scene in Frankenstein?
Oh my God. It's been a minute since I've watched Frankenstein.
The first scene in Frankenstein is them digging up the body in the graveyard.
I don't figure. Why did I think that happens later?
It's the first thing, right?
Okay.
You walk into Dark Universe, you're in the graveyard.
Oh, sick.
And there is a casket that is open and empty. It is setting the scene. And of course, like you can go take your photo in it, and it's awesome. Of course. And shit. And so you're like, oh, like I'm walking in. I'm like, oh fuck, like we're there. We're there immediately, right? Yeah. And then you walk a little bit further, and then you enter in the town, right? You know, the town that movie takes place in, where they do the pitchforks and shit. And there's a spooky fucking well where the smoke is coming out of, and there's a woman walking around just playing a creepy violin, a walk around violinist, and you're like, holy shit, I am here. And you can go left over into the werewolf gypsy camp, or you can go right into fucking Frankenstein's manor. And I'm like, God damn it. Or if you go straight, there's a fucking windmill that is on fire.
In the windmill
from the fucking movies. And I'm almost in tears.
Yeah.
As a hardcore fan. I'm like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Like,
see, and we just watched Bride of Frankenstein. So like that was still ingrained in my head. Like when I saw that, I was just like, fuck.
Yes.
So cool.
It's so awesome. And so the first thing we did was we rode the Curse of the Werewolf, which was very fun. It was a roller coaster that spun and went back and forth. And it, like the queue was a lot cooler than the ride. The ride was very fun, but like there wasn't really a lot on the ride that made you feel like a werewolf, but it was still a good time. And then we went into, after that ride, we went into one of their quick service restaurants, which was called Das Steakhouse.
Okay.
Which essentially is a restaurant inside the crypt of Dracula. So like you walk in and you are seeing skulls and caskets and ordering your food, which, you know, they have got like the black bun burger, and they've got like jalapeno bites and like garlic knots and all sorts of fucking themed awesome shit. And then you walk into the main room where you sit and eat, and there are two fucking vampire figures with stakes driven through them, bleeding all over, and you're like, holy fuck, this is incredible. This is amazing. So then we get some bites and whatever, and we walk out, and we went around, but like we came back, and I'm going to stick with this one area just to kind of finish it up. And so later on, we came back and we rode Monsters Unchained, which is the big ride for that area. And with this ride, you go through Frankenstein's manor. And it is Frankenstein's manor, but it is not Victor Frankenstein. It is his descendant, Victoria.
Right. Yeah, I did see
Frankenstein, which the original, it is a original story, which I loved. I'm like, all right, I've seen all the movies.
Yeah.
I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly when it comes to the Universal
Monsters.
monsters. So to give me something new and original that is like of the concept of one of their Halloween Horror Nights where they do like the monsters versus each other kind of thing. I'm like, I'm in. This is great. You're walking through the queue and you're walking through the manor of Frankenstein and you're going from room to room and it is full of fucking Easter eggs from the original movies. It's full of original storytelling pieces and it's full of special effects of like lightning. At one point there is a glass tube of a Frankenstein monster where they're doing a body scan of it while you're just fucking walking through. There's like Blair Witch footage of the Wolfman killing people through in the like it is fucking incredible. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about the ride. Like I want to walk through this and like spend some time in each room because like it's amazing.
Damn.
And then you get to the ride, and there's a pre-show of the ride to where there is an Igor who is presenting what the ride is going to be. And this is a brand new version of Igor. We've never seen this version before. And he's essentially like a high school dork.
Okay.
Who doesn't really like who's on the spectrum essentially, and has kind of been like forced to help Victoria with this project, and he's the one who is controlling your vehicle. Like he's leading you through, but he's insane because he's Igor, kind of thing, and that's great. And then you get to the next pre-show room, and it is two animatronics, one of Victoria Frankenstein and one of Frankenstein's monster, and they are the most fucking realistic, like unbelievably incredible looking animatronics that are telling you this story in real time of that they want. Basically, she has done her research. She has captured all these Universal monsters in the hopes that she is going to finally capture Dracula. That is the last monster she has to capture is Dracula. So you are on a quest to capture Dracula. And through this quest, you fail, and Dracula releases all the Universal monsters that you have captured. And you are now facing the Wolfman. You are facing the creature from the Black Lagoon. You're facing the fucking Phantom of the Opera they put in this motherfucking ride, and all of Dracula's creatures on top of that. And it is the fucking most incredible immersive ride I've ever been on. It is the greatest theme park attraction I have gone on to date. I will ride this till the end of time.
Shit.
It is worth the price of admission alone, and we didn't even get to Super Nintendo Land, motherfuckers. Like it is unfucking real.
That's insane.
It is insane.
Like, and everything I've heard coming out of that, just from like the different people I follow and the websites have all said like it is nuts. Like it is so good. Like also has brought tears to people's eyes.
It is unbelievable. So we left that, and then we went to Super Nintendo World because like that's what the kids were really here for, right? You walk through Super Nintendo World, and to get into the world, like you go through a portal through it to land. The portal you go through Super Nintendo World is a warp pipe.
Of course.
And you're going through a warp pipe, and it is an escalator up into the land. And you go in there, and it does the do 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 right through the warp pipe, and you're hearing the music, and you're like, man, this is cool. And then you get up to the top of the escalator, and you walk out. I'm a 37-year-old man.
Yeah.
I had tears in my eyes.
Oh my God.
Like as a child, grew up playing Mario. The greatest video game of all time is Super Mario 3. I will fight every motherfucker on this planet. I will bomb every country.
Jesus Christ, take it easy, brother.
I mean, that's how you get a Nobel Prize nowadays. It is everything you ever wanted. If you grew up a Nintendo fan, if you grew up a Mario fan, you walk out, you see piranha plants moving, you see Goombas walking around, you see Bowser's castle off in the distance, you see question mark blocks that you can punch and they do shit, and you get coins, and they've got the fucking little slot machine thing where you got to line up all the fucking pieces and shit right from the goddamn thing, and you're just like, how did they do this? Yeah. Like, how is it that I can walk through here and be in the place that I've wanted to be my entire fucking life, and be immersed and see it, and go, and I can go fucking eat lunch, and Toad is gonna make my fucking cheeseburger for me, and I can go ride a Yoshi, and I can go fucking do all this, and it's just like, this is all I ever wanted. The only problem is there's 10,000 people in this park.
Yeah, that's the thing to battle against.
That want to do the same thing. Like, it's an area that's probably made for 2,000 people with 10,000 people in it.
Sure.
It's crowded. And that is the only downside.
Yeah.
And the other part is you go and explore, and you're punching blocks, and I'm like, this is unfucking real. And then there's a second half to it, which is the Donkey Kong section. Now, I don't know how like Donkey Kong sits with a lot of people, right? But when I was growing up, my father loved Donkey Kong Country.
Oh yeah,
he beat Donkey Kong Country 100%ed it. He beat Donkey Kong Country 2 100%ed it.
God damn.
He beat Donkey Kong Country 3 98% of it, because there was one thing that you had to do, and you could only do it on the first run, and he didn't know about it.
Oh shit!
At the time. So when I walked in, and my father's no longer with us for spoilers. So when I walked in, and I saw the immersion, and I immediately thought of him, and I'm just like, oh my God, like this is like everything he ever would have wanted. And you walk around, and you can collect the KONG.
Oh my God.
And get yourself a free guy. You can go to Funky's Flights. Like, you can fucking, and I'm just like, they did it. Like, the son of a bitches did it. Like, I've seen videos from the Tokyo version.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, when I say it doesn't even come close to doing it justice, it doesn't come close to doing it justice. Like, it's on another fucking level that's just like, and I didn't even get to ride the fucking ride. Like, I didn't get to ride.
Man. You didn't get to ride the, what was it, the
minecart ride.
Minecart.
It was down most of the day. So we didn't get to ride. I got to ride the Mario Kart ride, which the queue for that ride is worth the price of admission alone. You go through Bowser's Castle. That's the ride. It's in Bowser's Castle. It's Bowser's Challenge. And so you're going through Bowser's Castle, and you're going through Bowser's Study. And it's got a library of books that are just make you smile. Like, there is how to achieve world domination in 3 days. Like, there is like Blakely K said, there's a book about pitfalls, which is a specific reference to Animal Crossing. They've got, how to tame your bullet bill, like books. And also on each of these bookshelves, there is a picture of Princess Peach, because Bowser is obsessed with Princess Peach. And it goes so far into, if you're a diehard fan, they have the fucking fireplace from Paper Mario.
Oh wow!
To where you escape as Princess Peach during those cutscenes. Like, the theming is out. Like, I got my fucking picture with a bomb. I got my fucking picture with a Shy Guy. Like, fuck you. Okay? Fuck you. This is
Wow.
all I ever wanted. The Mario Kart ride isn't great. I'm going to say.
Okay.
So, the Mario Kart ride relies on this augmented reality system
Okay.
to where you wear a Mario hat
Mhm.
and you kind of snap in these like 3D-esque goggles
Yeah.
and you're driving this cart. And the game is through the goggles, you're seeing carts and players that aren't really there.
Yeah.
And you're shooting your turtle shells that aren't really there
Mhm.
to try to win. But while you're driving through and it's a track, so like you're kind of doing
Yeah.
the thing, but like the sets beyond the augmented reality are gorgeous.
Okay.
Like top not like they take you through different courses of Mario Kart. And if you're familiar with Mario Kart, like you get to go on Rainbow Road, you get
Ooh.
to go through the Twisted Mansion, you get
Mhm.
to go through like these staples of Mario Kart courses,
Yeah.
but they're kind of fucked through these augmented reality like if they
Okay.
had just done away with that, like it would be fucking way better
Okay.
kind of thing. So like if you can look past that, it's awesome.
Yeah.
If you kind of focus on the actual game portion of it, it's
Mm,
not really accurate or great.
okay.
So it is what you make of it.
Mhm.
But there's one room where you walk in and you see the different trophies from each of the Mario Kart, like the flower
Saw
cup,
that. Yeah.
and then you're just like, God damn it! Like it's real. It's still
Yeah.
real to me. Damn it! You know,
Hmm.
like fuck. So tremendous time there. Tremendous time at the Dark Universe. We kind of walked through the How to Train Your Dragon Land,
Mhm.
but at that point in the day, like there was nothing under 2 hours
Oh, yeah.
for a wait.
Yeah.
So, and we weren't big enough fans to like wait for anything. So we walked around and it was a cute area
Mhm.
kind of thing. And then it started to rain and lightning. And this is another downside of the park. Most of the attractions are outside.
Okay.
And in Central Florida, when it lightnings, everything goes down.
Yeah.
Literally everything. So there was a point in the day where everything went down, and the only thing that was open was the Harry Potter ride. And I'm not the biggest Potter fan.
Not a
And
fan.
we've watched the movies. They're not great. Like I'm pro human rights also.
Yeah.
So like I don't like supporting things that aren't.
Yeah.
But you know, you're there anyway. And most people have raved about this ride. So we're like, all right, we'll wait. We waited almost 3 hours for this fucking ride. And when I tell you it sucked a dick, it's not good.
Okay.
If you've been to the other Universal parks and you've been to the ride where you fucking go through the bank, the Gringotts, it's the same ride. It's the same ride with different
Damn.
scenes. And you're like,
That's lame.
I waited 3 hours for this. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck your butter beer. Fuck your wands. Fuck all your bullshit. I don't need it.
Yeah.
So that was the real downside of the day. Now I got to talk about the Pizza Moon.
It's with the Pizza Moon.
We went to the Pizza Moon.
Yeah. How was the Pizza Moon?
Weird.
Oh.
In a great way.
Oh.
So it has an aesthetic that's really out there.
Okay.
So if you've ever thought of like Renaissance period marionettes and kind of like that, like kind of like very carnival clown with like the rosy cheeks and the weird hats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's the aesthetic, but in the theme of when a moon hits your eye, it's a big pizza pie.
Okay.
It's really fucking weird.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's like it works. And I don't know how it works, but it works.
Okay.
And it's
I'm
weird.
I'm looking at pictures right now.
And the pizza, and again, I'm a kid from New York
Yeah.
who grew up with great pizza,
Yeah.
who moved to Florida, which has the most dog shit pizza you've ever eaten on your planet.
Same with Texas. Just gonna put that out there.
This was good fucking pizza.
Really?
It's good fucking pizza.
I mean, I'm looking at the pizzas they got on, Google Images here, and I'm seeing some good ass looking pepperoni.
Mm-hmm.
It's some questionably thick crust, I will say.
So it's a
okay, let me say this though. I'm not dissuaded by the crust.
So I will say
I do like me a good
it's
crust.
a floppy pizza. I will say that it's a floppy. Like if you got yourself a fork, you can get through it. But
the fuck did you just say?
I know what you mean. I know what you're saying. But hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out. And this may be because I've survived on Domino's for the past fucking 3 years of my life.
Yeah.
But when I talk about flavor,
yeah.
What
is this pizza? It's got like potato chips on it.
Oh yeah, that's the barbecue.
Is that with those barbecue chips?
Yeah.
Ooh, I love me some barbecue chips.
Let me tell you something. Get yourself some Pizza Moon.
Oh shit.
And the last thing I'll talk about with Epic is the Celestial Park area has its own ride. And it is a fucking ride. Let me tell you something. If you're a fan of roller coasters, there is a ride there that is a dual coaster, Stardust Racers. It is a launching coaster where two coasters basically race each other. You get the green side or the yellow side, and you get to choose. And they are different. And when I tell you this is one of the greatest roller coasters I've ever been on, it is one of the greatest roller coasters I've ever been on. And the boy, 9 years old, he said, this is my first grown-up coaster. And he was going to do it. And it was at the end of the day. And I'm like, buddy, are you sure? Because, like, I don't want you to get up there and, like, chicken out and then I have to leave. Because, like, I really want to do this.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm sure. And so, like, you have to go through metal detectors. You can't bring anything on the ride. Not a wallet, not a phone, not fucking anything.
God damn.
They give you free lockers to put all your shit in.
Yeah.
And it is so great. When you're pulling up and you're watching, and it does a double launch to start you off with. So it does a quick launch and then it quick launch you again.
Oh.
On top, and you're not expecting it, right? And it does inversions and it does flips and it does loop-de-loops and it does a point where it launches you up. And like, so it launches you up fast and you kind of get out of your seat. And then it doesn't let you get back in your seat and you start going down. It fucks you up. But let me tell you something that brought another tear to my eye. And there was a lot of tears flowing this day.
This is a very emotional day.
Waiting in line to get in, right? And the car pulls up, people get off, people get on, then zooms the fuck off. Another one pulls up. And as it's pulling up, on the back of this coaster, the tail end of this coaster, and they didn't have to do this. They didn't have to do this. But it's universal. The back of this coaster, they put a flux capacitor. And I'm like,
just that little bit.
Just that little bit.
That little bit extra.
A little bit.
I get you.
Goddamn. So, highly recommend the Epic Universe. Highly recommend.
Plans will be made to make it out there. Maybe sometime soon. Maybe it might take a while. I don't know. We are kind of at a pause for any more trips right now. I think we're pretty much.
Well, brother, you've circumnavigated the globe. You know.
I mean, we do have a couple places we got to hit later this year, and I mean, maybe along the way, if there's time and there's the ability to, I'm like, I certainly wouldn't say no to a quick little pit stop over to see some Epic Universe. I
mean, you were in the neighborhood. You know, you were
we were
almost
in the
there.
neighborhood, not for long though.
All right.
Not for long. Because like there was part of me that was like, you know, we could stop by the Axe family. And,
Yeah, I mean, we got room.
We got room.
I mean, we got a kitten, but you know,
you do got a kitten now.
yeah, which I mean, you got time, brother? Because like we still got to talk wrestling. We
do got to talk wrestling. I don't know how much you want. I don't know how long you want to go tonight.
I mean, I got nothing else going on.
I got nothing else going on.
All right.
So, what do you want to get into some wrestling, or do you want to tell a cat story real quick?
Let me tell the cat story, and then we'll get to wrestling. So, folks, I got myself a kitten. I wasn't planning on getting a kitten.
Yeah.
But listen, like in this world, okay, I'm gonna get on my soapbox here for a minute, okay? I don't know if y'all notice, there's some fucked up shit going on in this world, and it's been going on for a while.
Yeah.
And as a 9-year-old told my wife the other day, like, you just can't be a good person anymore. And it's that's the mentality of the world right now. Is you got to fuck over your neighbor to get ahead. And that's not true. Like, that's just the perception out there is like, and it has a lot to do with leadership, is you don't have to be an asshole.
No, you don't.
And it's preferred if you don't, honestly. Because, like, we're all in this together, all right? And not just us as you and me and the person watching, but, like, your dog and, like, the fucking plants and, like, the fucking birds outside. Like, we're all fucking living shits on this goddamn spinning fucking globe. We're all in this, man. Like, and the fact of the matter is, like, we have to take care of each other. Otherwise, we're all doomed. And I know, like, fucking everybody else can tell you otherwise, but the truth of the matter is, like, I give a shit about my kids, and I give a shit about their kids, and their kids, and their kids, and their kids, because guess what? You were able to go to fucking Glasgow because somebody in your genes, somewhere along the lines, fucking made it this far. Which is wild to think. And if nobody gave a fuck, that wouldn't have happened.
Exactly.
So what happened is, you know, my kids, we're fortunate enough to send our kids to a day camp this summer. First time we've ever been able to do it. We're picking our kids up from the day camp. And we're walking back to the car. And we hear this really fucking loud noise. Really loud noise. And we're like, what the fuck is it? And it sounds like screaming. And like, there's kids around. So like, it sounds like a kid in distress.
Right.
Honestly. We're like, what the fuck is going on? And finally, we like kind of stopped for a minute. We're like, oh, that's a cat. Like, we could hear like really, really loud meowing.
Yeah.
And we're like, that's a cat. Like, that cat's in trouble or something. And we very easily could have been like, well, not our fucking problem.
Right, right.
And gotten in the car and drove the fuck away. But like, that's not who we are. Right. And so we start looking around like, where's this cat? And it sounds like it's coming from a bush over, and we're in the parking lot, right?
Yeah,
so it sounds like it's coming over from a bush. And we go over by the bush and we're like, oh, it's not in the bush. And we're like, oh no, it's in this car.
Yeah.
And the car was parked right next to the bush. And we're like, it's in the car. And so like, we're like, oh no, it's like one of these fucking assholes that left their animal in the goddamn car. And it's Florida and it's 90 fucking degrees. And so like, we're doing the thing in the window. I'm like, there's no cat in here. Like, what?
Yeah, I know exactly where it was.
And so like, oh no, it's in the car. And so we're like crawling, like looking through like the tires and like trying to see if we can see anything. And this is a luxury vehicle. it's a high-end vehicle.
Sure. Yeah,
and as somebody who's worked at Valvoline for 4 fucking years, when you have a high-end vehicle, it's got like a mountain of plastic skid plates underneath it. And what had happened was this cat had crawled up underneath the plastic skid plate and was stuck. And so we're searching for this cat, and about 10 minutes go by, and we've determined it's definitely under there somewhere, but we can't see it.
Yeah.
And as we're trying to fish it out or whatever, and of course, like, I'm wearing this jersey specifically.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I picked a fuck of a day to wear white.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And so, like, I'm like not really like gonna lay on the ground or anything like that. So Blakely K, the wife, she's like, fuck it, I'm in my fucking work shit. She gets up underneath the car and is laying and trying her best to try to find this cat. And as she's doing this, the owner of the vehicle comes out. And this woman walks out, and she's with her coworker.
Right.
And she's like, what are you doing? And I explained to her, like, listen, there's a cat that's stuck underneath your car. We're trying to get the cat out.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, there's not. I'm like, no. There is there's a cat underneath the car. And she's like, I don't believe you. And her coworker is like, no, you can hear it. Like, it's meowing. And she's like, you need to get away from my car. And I'm like, we're not going to do that. And because, well, for one, Blakely K is under the car right now. And so her coworker gets into her car, which is right parked next to it, but rolls down the window. And the woman who owns the car is standing there fucking annoyed.
Of course.
And pissed off. And she wants to leave.
That sounds like somebody who would act that way.
And so eventually we are able to get the cat out from the skid plate, and it runs out of the skid plate and into said bush that we thought it was in before. And so once the cat leaves, the owner's just like, oh, there was a cat.
Yeah.
And so Blakely comes out of the car, and we're trying to get the cat from the bush, and the owner of the car just goes.
Yeah.
Just books it. The coworker stays there and is watching all this unfold. I run back to the van, get a blanket, because I know this cat's going to claw the shit out of fucking anybody.
Yep.
But when the cat comes out, what we didn't realize was it is not a cat. It is a 6-week-old kitten. It is about yay big.
Yep.
And it is little, and if we don't do anything, this thing is going to die.
Yeah, that's going to be It's not going to fare well in the wild.
No, and we can't tell if like it came in from the parking lot or if it crawled in from this woman's house or what, but she could not be bothered. Either way, she wanted to drive off with the cat in the car, and it would have killed the cat.
Oh, 100%.
100% that cat would have died. And so I get the blanket from the van, and we were able to coerce the kitten out, and we grab it in the blanket and we carry it back to the van. And I'm like, fuck me, dude. Like this is the last thing I need.
The cat delivery service has found you.
Hey, but we got the cat, and the coworker from her, was just like, she's like, thank you so much. Like, she's just like, what you guys are doing, like, thank you. And also, which is kind of a side note, we're walking back to the car. Blakely K's got the kitten in the blanket.
Yeah.
And as we're walking back to the car, her boss just happens to walk by, and she goes, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And she goes, I just rescued a kitten. Which, like, if there's not a better fucking endorsement.
1 point for humanity.
Exactly. And so we get the kitten into the car, and we're just like, what are we going to do? because like we weren't expecting this. And we also have a cat and a dog at home. So like we're not really sure what to do. And we happen to have a giant cat cage that we keep outside for our cat because our cat is spoiled as fuck. And he likes to go outside every now and then, but we don't want hawks to eat him. So we put him in the cat cage.
Of course.
So we take the cat cage and we put it in the garage. And we put the kitten in the cat cage. And we're looking over the kitten and it's got fleas for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
You can see that.
Yeah.
But we don't know what else is wrong, and we don't want to fucking introduce fleas into our house and all that shit. So we keep the kitten out in the garage. And we do our best to like, you know, make sure that there's fans on the kitten so it doesn't get overheated and all that kind of shit. We take the kitten to the vet the next day. And we're like, it's got fleas. And they're like, oh, are you well, the first thing the vet's like, are you claiming this cat? And I'm like, do we have to? And it's like, well, here's your options. You either claim the cat or it goes to the SPCA where they will kill the cat. There is an overpopulation problem in this area. And SPCA, the first thing they do is euthanize.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I guess we're claiming the cat.
Because I mean, otherwise, then it's just a wasted effort.
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing? Like we're already invested at this point.
That's like taking the penny from the tray and then dropping it immediately. Right. And it rolls behind the counter.
Totally. So, and listen, like, I wasn't going to let anything happen to that cat. Like, no, to be honest. So we get some good news from the vet. You know, we do some tests and it doesn't have any diseases or anything like that. It actually came back negative for any type of worms or anything like that, which was surprising as hell.
Win. Yeah.
A huge win. It's only got some fleas. So we get, you know, they put the flea medication on and all that kind of shit. And, you know, as somebody who wasn't expecting any of this, you know, $350 later was brother, what the fuck? And it's going back this weekend for its immunizations too. So like, fuck me too. Totally. And so we've got this kitten now and it is the cutest fucking cat.
Yeah, dude.
And like, I was trying to warn the kids, like, listen, don't get attached because like the thing is like if it did have a disease, like we couldn't keep it. Like that's the reality of the situation. Yeah. So I was telling the kids like, don't get attached, don't name it, don't do anything like that because like we don't know if we can keep it. And in the meantime, I'm falling in love.
Yeah, dude, so, that's how it works every time.
Every time. And so like now we have a kitten, and the thing is like, and I guess this is kind of the thing, like again, we very easily could have done nothing.
Yeah.
We could have very easily gone about our day. Said not our problem. That woman would not have given a fuck.
Nope.
She would have driven away. That cat would have died. And in this world today, that's important.
That is, yeah. And I mean, like, I think that's the thing that so many people are missing. Not like not a kitten. Although more people could probably use a kitten in their life. Totally. You know, let's be real. We could probably chill them the fuck out. But it's that little moment of like, this isn't like you can do one thing a day that's not for you. It's not about you. And then that could grow into doing multiple things. And then it could grow into like somebody just being a better person. You know, like you don't have to always be involved in other people's business. You don't always have to just fucking say, hey, I don't care that there's a cat in my engine. I want to leave.
Right.
Like you can take 10 minutes and just chill the fuck out and just try to be a better human being. Like,
and it's also the thing of like, it's knowing that if you are capable of doing something, you have a responsibility to do that thing.
Yeah, and that's something I've very much this year have learned about that. You know, we do all of us, we have a responsibility. They could be a range of things. And we should be following through on those responsibilities.
Yeah, and it's I think it doesn't have to be as grand
No.
as anything.
Yeah.
But if an opportunity presents itself and you have the ability to do something positive and good and put it out into that world, like, it could make a world that, like, obviously, like, yes, there's an overpopulation of cats in the area and that sort of thing, but, like, to save this kitten when we absolutely didn't have to, and we more than likely don't really have the means to. The amount of positivity that this kitten will probably put in the world versus
Mhm.
being dead
Mhm.
is worth it alone.
Mhm.
So put positivity into the world.
Yeah. Do that shit. Stop being a fucking asshole.
Stop being a fucking asshole and
Yeah.
stop going to Saudi Arabia.
Jesus
Fuck.
Christ. Do you wanna talk about wrestling real quick?
Mhm.
Brother. I mean, okay, so I've been a little bit more out of the loop. I saw you did
Mm.
your own wrestling special, which I have 2 things to say about that.
Okay.
Number 1, I have been very seriously thinking that we need to do a regularly scheduled wrestling show on this channel.
Okay. All
Like
right.
I like kind of an open format, maybe revolving guests each week,
Oh,
but just
all
kind
right.
of getting and like not like let's talk about the history of wrestling. Like let's talk about the now. If the history comes up, we'll talk about the history. But
Sure.
like let's talk about the now. But like talk about it from a number of different ways. Because I feel like that's always been the last thing the fucking internet needs is another couple of dickheads on the internet talking about pro wrestling. But I feel like
Sure.
we, I'm gonna toot our own horn a
Sure.
little bit here, but like we've both been in the business.
Yeah, I mean,
We
we just got a shout out by Scene, so, like, what the fuck?
did you watch that fucking
Oh, it's phenomenal.
dude? That was that not the most just two good brothers kicking back
Fucking
and
A.
having a good time
I'm
conversation?
not a fan of the Wheatley's vodka, like, constant plug, but other than that, like, it was phenomenal.
I think it's hilarious because so many people who have come on the show, like, are low key ribbing it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which I think is phenomenal. But that interview, that conversation was tremendous. Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. Go check it out if you haven't. Yeah. But I feel like we've been around the business long enough.
Mhm.
And we've had our time in the business. We haven't done everything, folks, but we've done a lot more than a lot of people.
I wrestled Terry Funk twice, so
You
fuck
wrestled
you.
Terry. I got drunk with Terry Funk.
He gave you
So
gave some wonderful advice.
wonderful advice. He was a wonderful human being, that man.
Mhm.
But I also feel like our approach to talking about wrestling comes from a number of different angles. Number 1, from like a fan perspective.
Mhm.
Number 2, from an insider perspective, like kind of knowing what we know about how the business works.
Mhm.
Number 3, I feel like we take a very practical approach
Right.
to talking about
Yeah.
wrestling, where we kind of strip more of the emotion out of it. Like we get kind of worked up a couple of times, but like we sort of look at it from also like a, hey, this is a business
Mm.
and this is how businesses operate. So we kind of
Right.
take more of a practical approach, and plus like we're not starting fucking rumors and trying to
No,
clickbait
we're just talking about what
bullshit.
we
Like,
see, you
yeah,
know?
what we see and analyzing it. So, like, I feel like we do bring a little bit more value in that way.
Mhm.
So I was thinking about a lot of that, and I was like, we should start doing like an actual pro wrestling
Okay.
show.
I could be down for that.
Which then I saw you doing the thing,
Mhm.
the main event monologue,
Mhm.
I believe you did. And I went, how fucking hilarious that 10 years ago, this dude was like, I want to do a podcast and I don't want to say a single thing about
Not a
professional
fucking thing.
wrestling. Like a month and a half ago, you were just like, I'm done. with
done.
wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm so done. And then when I'm away in Europe, here you are doing an hour talking about it all by yourself.
Well, the thing was, like, a lot happened, right?
A lot did happen.
Oh,
Dude, this has been a crazy month.
a lot happened, and I was just like, well, first off, I was like, we need the clips. That was the first thing.
I'm away.
Yeah, you're gone, and we need the clips. And I was just like, fucking, they buried Jey Uso. They fucking they did the goddamn whatever pay-per-view it was at the time. Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank.
They did
Yeah,
Money in the
yeah, Money in
Bank,
the
which
Bank.
fucking
Money in the Bank and the AAA show.
Yeah, which Money in the Bank was the biggest fucking piece of garbage fucking show. Sucked a they gave those people nothing. All fucking heat finishes except for R-Truth.
So let's talk about that for a second. The finishes recently in a lot of matches have been so uninspired.
Oh, yeah.
Leading up to the most recent, leading up to the semi-final matches for King and Queen of the Ring. All of those fatal four-ways that they were doing. Was there a single fatal four-way qualifier match that didn't have a fucking interference run-in by somebody?
No, and that's
every match. Yeah, every match that I saw, somebody did a run-in. Somebody did a distraction.
I hate this concept, and I hated it with Money in the Bank, even though I was there live to see them. These multi-man matches to get into the thing. I fucking hate that.
I hate that too.
Terrible. Like,
yeah,
the multi-man match, the fatal four-way, the triple threat match, that is an attraction. Like, that is something for a draw. Like WrestleMania 2000, fucking McMahon in every corner, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Like, that's a draw. You did what? 4 fucking fatal four-ways to get in this goddamn tournament? Eat a dick.
Yeah. And what happened in those matches? Well, Zoe Starks blew out her fucking leg. Nobody really got over.
Nope.
Who didn't win. So half the pack kind of got buried or pushed to the side. Just and it was a situation of they wanted to rush everything. They didn't want to give time because they also had money they just did Money in the Bank.
Yep.
So it's like, hey, fuck everything leading up to this. Like, they booked too much too close together.
It had kind of that WrestleMania feel of we want to get as many people on the show as humanly possible because we have a stacked motherfucking roster. And it's like, well, then nothing means anything.
No. And the other thing too is I think they're doing too much of the same shit. It's like the same spots, the same finishes, the same tables, which now I don't know if you've noticed, they're doing a table spot every show.
Because they got a sponsor.
Because they got a sponsorship for the fucking table. Like, listen, I love Slim Jims, okay? I think the collaboration there is wonderful. I love those commercials. It brings me back to a time where, like, Slim Jims was a relevant part of professional wrestling. It was the advertising on the post for Halloween Havoc.
Right.
So when they were like, oh, we're going to, you can see a lot more Slim Jim placements. Cool. But now that we have to have a fucking table spot every goddamn show, like, it's so uninspired. And they've literally reached a point now where the advertising is hurting the quality of the show. Because now they have to get all of these dumb gimmicks over for the advertising.
And it's funny because on that main event monologue, I talked about this. I talked about the sponsors on the show.
Yeah.
And the amount of people in the comments of those clips that didn't have a problem with the sponsorships on there was alarming, especially with the alcohol sponsor. Like, Money in the Bank had 3 fucking alcohol sponsors
Right.
on that show, and I'm like, they're selling this to kids. What are we doing?
So I see the good and bad behind that. I mean, listen, when we were kids, Steve Austin was cracking beers at the end of every show.
Yes.
You watch any football game, they got beer ads up the fucking wazoo. I'm not saying it's right.
However, is Tom Brady coming out and yeeting with a kid every time he makes an entrance?
No, he's kissing this kid on the lips.
Yeah, which is okay. However, much like chair shots to the head, we've evolved.
We have evolved.
We know alcoholism is a real fucking problem in this country. We know that.
Yeah.
We've gone past Steve Austin. That was 97, bro.
Yeah.
It's 2025.
This is true.
We can do better.
Listen, I'm kind of in the I'm a bit in the middle of this. Granted, my name is really not Paul. I understand. I fully understand it and agree with where you're coming from. Like, I don't think that alcohol sponsors should be in the face of everybody when they're sponsoring an event. I don't like it. I think it's dumb. I think it is. I'll say I think it's inappropriate, especially when the primary, demographic of your crowd is kids.
It is
because
it's still kids.
It's still kids. At the end of the day, it's still kids. And yeah, like I said, like we grew up with Austin cracking beers, and we're always like, hell yeah, middle fingers. Cracking cans of soda open and dumping them on ourselves, but at the same time, yes, you are right. We have evolved.
Well, that and the target audience for that time was 18 to 24.
It was 18 to 24, realistically, yeah. But it's just the way we are now seeing the sponsors in every corner. Again, I feel like that in general has really hindered the quality of the show. Long term, I don't really have that much of an issue with sponsors on the mat. I don't have that much of an issue with sponsors on the barriers, whatever. Because listen, in sports, you watch any sport, you're gonna get plastered with ads. You're gonna get plastered with sponsor placements. It's part of the business. And the WWE with TKO is trying to pivot in a way where they are attracting more sponsors in ways that they haven't done before, especially considering the fact that they're not necessarily generating, and this is just like a thought that I have. This isn't necessarily like true or not, but I would imagine with the advent and the growth of streaming, you're not getting the same kind of ad revenue that you are when you're running shows on cable directly.
Well, hold on, brother, because I'm going to stop you right there. Because let me tell you something. As a good brother who puts on Raw while he does his rowing, when I want to skip like the opening promo because I couldn't give a fuck and I don't, and I want to, when I'm rowing, I want to see some action, right?
Yeah.
So I was putting on Penta versus Braun Breaker from this, which if you want to see two motherfuckers that could not get along in the ring at all,
I got something to say about that.
You watch Penta and you watch Braun Breaker because, like, oh, hold on, yes,
WWE schools Christie a Mountain Dew Pitch Black.
That's very true. But besides the fact, when I tell you I skipped ahead and had to watch 2.5 minutes of commercials.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I went a little too far and I went back, 30 seconds and I had to watch 2.5 more minutes of commercials.
But who's getting that ad revenue? Who's getting the majority of that ad revenue? Is it the WWE or is it Netflix?
Oh, I would say Netflix.
So what the WWE is now doing is they are putting your brand literally in the center of the ring, and your brand is going to be there forever and ever, because once that gets added to the network, once everything gets carried over to digital, your brand is always going to be there. So
Totally.
they have a more lucrative revenue stream through those sponsorship placements than running ads on Netflix and running ads on Peacock. Because again, that is ad revenue sharing at that point. So that's
yeah,
my business sense.
But and I wanted to get your take on this, because I had a take on the main event monologue. Say somebody breaks their neck on that Fireball ladder.
Yeah.
Do you think they got a case against Fireball?
No.
You don't think so?
No, it's
they're sponsoring that piece of equipment.
Sponsoring that piece of equipment, but it's not equipment. It's not equipment owned by Fireball.
Let me tell you something. You're on a construction site.
Yeah.
Right? And you get yourself your foot run over by a goddamn DeWalt fucking screwdriver or whatever the fuck. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like where this is going.
You're obviously going against the person who's on the construction site. Like that's a gimme. You're going against WWE and TKO, right? Like
you go against WWE and TKO, yeah.
But man, if that piece of equipment malfunctioned, like say the Fireball ladder was the wooden gimmick ladder, and you get a splinter in the eye.
Yeah.
That's a Fireball splinter, brother.
No, that's a WWE prop guy splinter.
I don't know. I might go after that Fireball money. I'm just saying.
You're going after that Fireball money through WWE and TKO.
Well, no, you're doing that first, and then your second half, you're going after Fireball.
Fireball is going to be like, listen, my name is Paul. Okay,
your name's on that fucking ladder, brother.
That don't mean it's their ladder.
I don't know. They made it pretty fucking clear it was their ladder.
Now, hang on. The true use of a ladder is not intended for a ladder match. Therefore,
however, but they were sponsoring a ladder in the ladder match.
But it doesn't. They're not responsible for what happens.
Slim motherfucking Jim has a goddamn piece of a splinter in the eye from their goddamn table, and it's clearly the gym part.
You're being obtuse.
I'm just saying, like there's some fucking legalities here that people
legality.
are independent contractor.
You can't. No, that's not how.
I'm out here for the boys.
I know I'm out here for the boys too, but I'm just telling you that ain't how that works, brother.
I think you got a case.
You don't.
As long as you don't get like Raven's lawyer who fucked it up, like you got yourself a case.
True. So what the fuck else happened like when I was gone? Because like I know Money in the Bank sucked.
Yeah, Money in the Bank sucked. This whole Saudi thing, we got to talk about this.
Okay. Wait, real quick, because I want to touch upon a couple of quick things before Saudi. Number one, the R-Truth situation.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
They fucked this up so hard.
They fucked everything up on that.
This reminds me, and this is going to be inside baseball for just us. This reminds me of the Sandman situation in 2CW.
Yeah.
To where they said he said a gimmick that we worked in his favor, but we said we fucked it up, but not really. Like it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
At all.
No, it was like when the news came out, I was like, Jesus, like what the fuck are they doing? Like literally one of the most over guys in the entire company, and that's not hyperbole. Legitimately one of the most over guys in the company, beloved by fans and wrestlers alike. That week, a top seller on WWE Shop. Every shirt that he has had released in the past 5 years. I don't know about 5 years, but like every shirt that he has had in the past few years has been a top seller on WWE Shop. That right there, between the love of the fans, between the love of the boys and girls, between the sales on Shop, you know what that indicates to me? He's a fucking draw.
He's a draw.
And he's always been a draw.
Always been a draw.
Always been a draw. So he's a moneymaker. And they're just going to let his contract expire, not renew it, because we got to make TKO more revenue. And then they go and release Carlito.
But and that's where my heart breaks.
That's where my heart breaks too.
Because Carlito
Yeah.
was the fucking heart and soul
Yeah.
of those Judgment Day segments.
Yeah.
By a mile.
Yeah. And it's one of those things too of like, well, you know, he wasn't really doing anything. You know, there's really nothing.
That's horseshit.
It's like, horseshit, because give him something to do. He's right there.
How much more over was Braun Breaker because of the spear he gave Carlito? How much more over is the Judgment Day because of his one-liners?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what anybody says. He earned that money.
He earned that money. He
earned that money. He was an integral part of the Raw brand show.
Mm-hmm.
They gave him no goodbye.
Nope.
They gave him no sign off. They gave him no write off.
Did you hear what he said?
Gone.
One of the things he said was like, I just would have liked to have finished my story with the Judgment Day.
Yeah. That's it.
And it would have been fine. Like, give us some closure. Give us some of that. And I fucking hated that. Well, first of all, I love that they brought back Ron Killings.
Oh, yeah. Good for Ron.
And I think the promo he cut after he returned, where he cut off his hair, he did the whole thing on the announce table. He had everybody right here.
Right there.
Which I wouldn't have doubted him being able to do that for a second.
Nope.
Because that's the talent he is.
Always been.
And I thought one of the best promos in a while, in general. I hated the remark Trips made at the press conference.
Oh, he ruined it. Fucking
where he tried to imply like, oh, you enjoying the show? It's like, no, fuck you.
Fuck you.
You know exactly what you did. Don't. And this is the thing that WWE has been trying to do for a while now. When they do have to pivot and when they do have to change things on the fly, they always go, oh, you know, it's smart booking on our part. It's part of the show. It's like, no.
You're ruining the reason that people loved it in the first place. Yeah. Because they felt like their voice mattered.
Mm-hmm.
You had Ron Killings going out there saying like, don't let anyone tell you that your voice doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then you have the Office saying like, no, it was the plan all along. Your voice actually doesn't matter. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, give the people something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, like, love that he's back. I feel bad for Carlito. Hated the whole situation overall. You know, hated that so many people lost their jobs recently.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, I want to touch upon the Jeff Cobb situation real quick. What the fuck have they done to him? Because the moment he debuted, they buried the fuck out of him.
Yeah. I feel like it's kind of like, in a sense, where you want yourself a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Because you've seen everybody else, you know, have a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
And they're very successful. And Lamborghinis seem to be working out for everybody else. And then you get yourself a Lamborghini. And then you put in regular gas.
Yeah.
Instead of the high octane that you're supposed to. Because you just can't afford the Lamborghini in the first place. It's like, motherfuckers, I understand he's part of the bloodline. I understand that's what you're doing. Like, you booked Solo Sikoa better in the beginning.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
And again, like I'm trying to understand a reason why, and maybe I'm trying too hard to dig. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong areas. But the thing is, it's not even like he had a chance.
Well, the thing is, and I don't know, this is not what he wants to hear, and it's not what the fans want to hear. He wasn't needed.
I don't think he was needed.
Because you had Jacob Fatu already.
You had Jacob Fatu already. The only thing I will say is bringing him in to sort of create a divide between Jacob and Solo, to have him be Solo's new heater and bodyguard, essentially. The way that they have booked Jeff Cobb or JC Mateo,
yeah,
which go watch Hobbs and Shaw and see that Roman Reigns' name in that movie was Mateo, which is where I'm pretty sure they got the name from.
Of course it is.
He's there to create the divide. He's there to be the badass. I don't believe he can beat anybody in that company.
No, he got fucking jobbed out at Money in the Bank.
He got jobbed out immediately. So that leads me to believe, like, why did they bring him in? Did they bring him in to be a job guy? Did they bring him in and immediately go, oh no, we didn't get the guy we thought we got?
I think first off, they underestimated how over Jacob Fatu was going to get.
100%. 100%.
And that was the pivot was, oh, he's our baby face, you know? And I think you're absolutely right. I think Jeff Cobb was the catalyst to do that turn, but in so made him a complete bitch. But I want to stop right here and give massive, massive, massive props to Solo Sikoa. How far has he come? He is tremendous now.
He's working his way up that crime ring. He's moving on from just being the guy with the stolen cars.
From being like the tough badass that wasn't working to being the goofy geek heel. Is so much better. So much better. He's wonderful now.
Funny is money.
Funny is money.
Wit is shit. That's what Mel Brooks used to say.
Look at that.
Look at that. Okay, so let's talk about Saudi.
You gonna get some of that fucking blood money, brother?
Brother. Apparently flights have taken off. The word on the street, I don't know the inside scoops. I don't know everything, but word on the street is the first flights have taken off for Saudi Arabia for the WWE's Night of Champions. I think they're doing SmackDown. SmackDown, Night of Champions, and then maybe the Raw following.
I have no idea.
But yeah, with the current tensions in the world,
right?
We don't need to bury the lead. Obviously, there's a conflict going on between Israel and Iran right now, and the United States decided, let's get involved. Even though I don't think really anything came of it. But
well, it distracted everybody from the Epstein files and
because it's
and the failed Big Bill and the failed
let's cause some waves and hey brother, do you mind taking the fall on this one? We'll get you we'll get you back on the next go around and everything.
Here's the thing, folks. Life is a series of distractions and then you die.
It is.
So when something happens, it's just to distract you.
Yep.
From something else.
Oh yeah. Kind of like how in Texas, the biggest issue that our lieutenant governor has ever brought to the table was trying to ban THC products. And it was a big hoopla only for our dipshit governor to veto that bill. Hey, congratulations. Oh, but by the way, now every classroom has to have the 10 Commandments posted into it.
Yeah, that part's not great.
And who knows what else they slipped on by everybody when people were distracted. Anywho, I digress. So there was a lot of concern even before the bombings took place. Obviously, fans are very outspoken about the WWE's involvement with Saudi Arabia and running shows there, and there has been a lot of backlash on the WWE ever since they started doing shows in Saudi.
Yeah.
This most recent go around, obviously, there was high concern for the safety and well-being of the talent and crew, because two countries were literally throwing bombs at each other across the Middle East.
And one specifically said that they were going to target U.S. citizens.
U.S. citizens and U.S. military, and hey, don't come to that region if you don't need to. So, like, that is a threat to take very seriously. And I'm not gonna lie, like, there was a point when we were over in the UK where I was a little nervous because we're closer to them than we are us
in your home country.
And I'm like, we're getting on an airplane in 2 days. I was just like, this is, well, specifically, well, like, all that was going on, and then we were in, actually, let me flip that, reverse it. We were in New York City as they were throwing bombs at each other, and then, like, but even still, like, hearing like US is a target, being in New York City, just like,
there's some history there.
There's some history there, so you get a little just a little tense, and hearing that they weren't going to cancel the show, that they weren't going to postpone the show. Number one, I thought the fact that there was no statement, even of like, hey, we understand there's a lot of concern right now. We are closely monitoring situations and doing our best to work out the best solution as possible. That would have been, I think, a lot to appease the fans and the people concerned, and I think that would have gone a long way. But at the same time, I understand that as a business, like, you don't need to put that out in the world, because then that creates a sense of, oh, they're going to do something.
Right.
And for a business, it's often, unfortunately, better to not say anything at all. So that way you don't set an expectation. And I know that the WWE TKO did not want to set an expectation, because the likelihood of them canceling the show or postponing it is fucking zero.
They were not going to give up that money.
They were not. The only thing that would have potentially had them considering canceling it is if enough of the talent stood up and said, we're not going.
Which, good on either Dom or AJ, whoever. I'm pretty sure it was AJ, but like, who it was like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a feeling that it was AJ, considering he wasn't there on Raw. They didn't really mention him.
And he's got kids.
And he's got kids. And I mean, Dom being the not that they're not both true players in the game, but Dom probably just being there, being like, yeah, I'll do what I gotta do.
You got your contendies, I'll be there.
You got your contendies. I mean, he might even still go. Who knows?
Right.
I mean, obviously that kind of takes a payday away from the both of them, but
right. What are you gonna do?
Sometimes the safety's better than the payday, folks.
Fucking A. Live to fight another day.
Exactly.
But yeah, and then you've got Hypocrite Phil.
Hypocrite Phil.
Who gave the Miz a bunch of shit.
You know what? When he came back and that first promo, how did he end it? He said, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. So I'm like, motherfucker's going to make his money.
He can make his money.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to pay for them lawyer fees. So
got to pay for them. But I have to imagine that some people are getting paid.
Oh, he's not going over there and looking like a fucking asshole on the internet for no money.
No.
Like, no. He is getting paid, which I guess is good for him.
Yeah.
But also, like, you talked a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And when it was your fucking chance to actually stand up and do something, you did nothing. Kevin motherfucking Owens didn't go because of Sami Zayn standing up for his friend and turned down a huge fucking payday. That's a real fucking man.
Yeah.
Phil, I'm sorry, you're not a real fucking man.
Yeah. Well, Sammy's been there now once and he's going there on this weekend. Which I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure he got some sort of assurance that it'll be fine. But like, at the end of the day, like, morals are money.
Morals are money.
And in today's day and age, unfortunately, seems like money's winning out.
Yeah, and I do wonder now, with the way things are going with the WWE, how many people are using their position or able to use their position within the company to say, no, that don't work for me, brother, unless you're gonna.
Well, the thing is, like, when, and I think this is the changing of the guard, right? So, like, when Vinnie Mac was in charge, if you said I'm not going, he'd bury you.
Yeah.
Now, I think if you say you're not going, it's fine. You're just not getting that payday.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of, are you willing to take the pay cut for your morals? And that's on you, brother. That's not on the company no more.
Yeah.
And look what we're seeing.
Yeah.
That's on you, brother.
So, but yeah.
I've never been a big CM Punk fan. I am way less of a CM Punk fan.
Yeah, it's
as of now.
It's going to be interesting. I'm really like, I know he's been catching a lot of shit on social media.
Rightfully so.
But I'm wondering how far that goes. Like,
I mean, it's not going to affect his bottom line at all.
No, it's not going to affect his bottom line at all. But I'm wondering how it affects his reactions in future crowds. Like,
I don't think it does.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. And at the end of the day, I think he knows that.
Yeah.
I think he knows that too. There is a vocal collective on social media that will yell and scream and stamp their feet all day long. But at the end of the day, if the people in the audience at the show are still popping, not much is changing.
Well, I will tell you this. I will not be watching.
Oh, fuck no, I'm not watching.
and here's the thing I will tell all you people, and we can end on this, I guess. We are at a point in time in history where it is more important than ever to vote with your dollars and to vote with what you're willing to support and not support. We got fucking Amazon Prime Day coming up here in July. Fuck that shit.
Fuck it. Don't do it.
There's Walmart fucking day. Fuck that shit.
Did you see Italy protesting against Jeff Bezos this week?
No, I did not.
Because apparently he's having like a $300 million wedding. And he like,
what the fuck is what? Like, listen, me and Blake the K got married on $3K. All right, so come on, what the fuck, y'all.
But there's been a lot of people protesting him in Italy, where like they put a giant fucking banner and like a city center with a picture of him, and it just said, "If you can afford to rent out Italy, you can afford to pay more in taxes." Oh, they've been hitting him hard.
Good for
fuck
them.
him. His dick rockets. Yeah, vote with your dollars.
Vote with your dollars.
Focus more on supporting local vendors.
Fuck Chick-fil-A.
Fuck Chick-fil-A. Bullshit food, anyways. Focus on supporting people who do good for the community. People who are just trying to, support themselves, support the arts. Don't patronize people who are, staunch anti-humanity and shit like that.
Fuck Logan Paul.
Fuck Logan Paul.
Fuck Mr. Beast.
Yo, fuck that guy. Did you hear about his latest venture? Where he's created an AI tool that rips off people's thumbnails.
No.
Yeah. He has created an AI tool that will allow its users to rip off YouTube thumbnails and edit it for themselves. Like doing face swaps and like like very slight image variations. And this is the same motherfucker that was trying to put people on blast not too long ago for ripping off his thumbnails. Now he's created a tool that people, I'm sure, can pay to use.
It's going to come pretty soon. We're not going to know what's real.
Dude,
anymore.
The dead internet theory is no longer a theory. It exists and it is up and running, folks. Stop using AI. Start creating real art. Start paying people who actually give a shit about the work that they're doing and try to help other people out. Fucking go out there and try to do a little bit of good. You know, fight back against people who are trying to, you know, tear other people down because of their beliefs in race and whatnot. Fucking, yeah, it's chaos right now.
2 things. 1, don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole.
First and foremost.
Yeah.
Number 2, listen to the first piece of advice.
The first piece of advice.
There you go.
There you go. Well, hot damn.
That's all I got. Do good.
Do good. Do well.
If you've got a responsibility to do good, if you got the opportunity to do good,
yeah,
do good.
Help a brother out.
Exactly. Be a good brother.
Be a good brother
or sister, or whatever.
Yeah, or sister,
whoever you are.
Yeah,
we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And if you really want to help us out, buy a t-shirt.
Buy a t-shirt. ZBrother.com. Search Brainwreck TV.
We
fucking chill.
So we gotta eat.
Yeah, we gotta eat too. Man.
I got kids, so
I got 2 cats. That basically is one.
I got a new kitten.
Yeah, you got 2 kids and a kitten.
Fuck me. Be sure to subscribe, like.
Oh my god.
If you got an idea for a working title for this upcoming wrestling show, put it in the chat. Main Event Monologue was my thing. We're going to move this into a group situation, so we need a new name. New name comes with new shirts. But if you did like what I was doing, please go get yourself a Main Event Monologue shirt.
What about the non-titled podcast? Or yeah, something like non-titled.
Non-titled?
Yeah, because it's like a non-title match.
Okay.
It's a non-title wrestling show.
We'll workshop that.
We'll workshop that a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, because we're gonna have to think outside of the box for a wrestling name.
Of course, because they're all taken.
Yeah.
You know, we'll have to. I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know what tomorrow brings. You know.
I gotta work tomorrow. I gotta get my windshield fixed.
I gotta get 2 teeth pulled tomorrow. Fuck me. So for this week, I've been Jason X.
I'm Kevin Graham.
And this has been your show.
Peace.